Alrighty, PG-13. This is G.I. Joe, 1984, Cobra Rattler. Now this vehicle, it was a lot of fun to play with as a kid, but it had a lot of major issues and major drawbacks. And the main issues was the landing gear. It's just so fragile. It would always break off. It didn't last long. And another issues was the turret, the glass breaks off, or it's hard to, you gotta pull that out to put your figure in there. It's just not realistic. G.I. Joburg did a live chat on the whole thing for like an hour. And, they were talking about extending, the nose should be extended, the cockpit should have more room, as well as the back part, so this should have been made a little wider, for sure. And that would have helped some of the issues. The other issues are, why didn't they make the landing gear similar to the Sky Striker? You could have easily had something that's clicked in, and then you could have had it so it sits on that. Instead, they made this just so unbearably tight that you go to push them in, you'll snap them off, and that's the main issues. And yes, I had to replace one on the other one, the Tiger Force, but it did have tons of ordnance. You had lots of these missiles on here, as well as I think these are torpedoes. So again, this was awesome configuration for the missiles. You could move them over there, and the bell-shaped missile was always nice. You've seen on later on vehicles though, like the later on jets, they did not make it as deep, so the missiles tend to fall off for the bell shape, which is kind of crappy on the 2011 Sky Striker. But you do get a lot of issues with these landing gears, so you just leave it alone. And it's pretty frail. They did make a second version of the same blue one, or a third version, I forget, because this is the first version, is this, the black writing on it. The white writing on it is the next version. Some people even say some of them are mail aways sometimes too, but I don't think they had mail away Cobra Rattlers. Now, this vehicle did come with Wild Weasel, and he is pretty underrated, and he is a cool figure though. But I loved this as a kid. I did play with it a lot. I did have two, because this crash landed too many times, and then this part would snap off, so your Gatling gun would be like dangling. So they needed something. You needed to design this better technically. You could have had a Gatling gun that retracted in, and it's not too bad for the cockpit, but again, it is tight spacing, and that's a major issue with most G.I. Joe vehicles. A lot of vehicles needed wider cockpits or wider seating. So this was cool. You could take the engine covers off. I don't know if the tabs will break, but it's pretty frail. I'm not gonna pull this off. But again, they could snap off pretty easy, so now that's loose. So these tabs could easily break. If you have one in your collection, great. If not, you might want to wait, because maybe Super 7 will redesign one, make it a little wider, and maybe extend the nose a bit more. That might take care of some of the issues, and try to do a better landing gear, one that's not going to snap off, and have it even on a trigger so you can retract them. Not hard to do. They did it with the Sky Striker, they did it with the Cobra Raven, but the Raven has issues with the tabs as well. So again, when they start making stuff so cheap that it's just gonna fall apart or not last long for play, you have to make these a lot more rugged and durable. But overall, this is a fan favorite, and people do love these. And if you do find one for a cheap price, or you do parts one together, you know, it might take a while. Or you do get a second version that they released. It might be cool. I mean, I did love this version here. You know, the Tiger Force one was awesome. And well, the Tiger Rattler. I did love the design and the color of that. I was always wondering why they didn't make a Python Patrol one. You know, this would have looked fantastic as a Python Patrol Cobra Rattler. And it did come with battle damage, so you did have the plates. You know, these are harder to find, but you know, I'm sure they're pretty common. If you go to your collectible store, you might luck out and find one. Now again, these back turrets were harder to take off, and you know, it's just hard to fit your figures in there, so they do cram in. And the mold was remade a little bit, and I think Black Major Customs also remade the mold of this body, and they just used a different head. So the mold is out there. G.I. Joburg obviously doesn't know about that, but I do, and just letting you know. So if anyone wants to let G.I. Joburg know that Black Major Customs did remake the Wild Weasel mold, but not the head. So we'll see. But you know, I did have one of these as a kid. It was a hell of a lot of fun, and I did end up with two because the landing gear did break off, so, and the Gatling gun, so I did end up buying another one. But again, it's a lot harder to come by. Now they did remake the Rattler a few different times, and there is a grid view on yojo.com. That's what I like. You know, I wish 3D Joes would have made a grid view. But they did make the Cobra Rattler in 2002, and I think that was the gold color one, so I almost got that one before for $40. Then they made a 2008 Cobra Rattler. Now, the Tiger Force version, there would be more, so they did make this in the blue, but the Tiger Force version, there's a lot. So obviously there's the 1997 version, then there is, like, the Tiger Rat came out in 88, or Tiger Rattler. So you do have the 810 Thunderbolt as a 97, that's the camouflaged one. Then you had another Tiger Rat come out in 2009. And I think you had another one, it's called Power Glide, and that's a red version. Oh wow. So I'm just looking at yojo.com really quickly here, just to bring that up. Look at that. It's all red. That would have been fantastic for, like, you know, Crimson Guards. Or maybe Destro's Iron Grenadiers, if they would have put a little black in it, black and red. But they never made one for Python Patrol, so Super 7, if you're listening, maybe redesign the Cobra Rattler to get rid of those landing gear issues and make it a little more durable. Like, this landing gear should have had some sort of spring in here too, so it could take impacts and go, you know. I mean, this I had to replace because it came broken. Here you go. These landing gear, you know, you can't have anything hindering the landing gear. It has to be smoothly, you know, it has to be connected to something. So you should have a button that can push and retract, you know, so these will just pop out on a spring. You need some sort of mechanism in here that makes it easy for you to do your landing gear. As well as the front, even have something that it clips into, so you can, even if you had to do it manually, slide in and out, but it'll give it more stability so it doesn't collapse all the time. Because having something just interfering with it, like making it tight, this is what causes it to snap off. So there is a lot of issues, but again, this is a friggin' nice, awesome vehicle. I don't know if you can see the writing here. You have to. This is a 2002 one. Oh, so I guess I would have to look for the 1988 one. Jeez. So this is I guess a newer version, but it is nice. I love the look of this. Like, if you look at the detailing, it's just beautiful. The colors for the Tiger Force one, just outstanding. I wish I had the A10 Thunderbolt, but they should have also had the A10 Thunderbolt designed like the A10 Thunderbolt. There was a Rattler in the comic. You know, you just watch G.I. Joburg's videos, and they were looking at this Rattler. They could have made that for Super 7, a different Rattler. It had some cool details to it, you know. You might have had the engines more on here, so just similar to like an A10, like the actual real one. But overall, you know, I do recommend, if you're gonna get one of these, just know, don't be disappointed with the landing gear. Don't touch it. It's that frail that it will break off. And you know, these things can go for anywhere from a few $100s to $5, $6, who knows. But if you're gonna get one new in the box. Whether it's a 2002, there's a 2008. Holy, there's just a lot. So I recommend you do go to yojo.com. I don't know how well that'll come in, and have a look. And don't forget, in the Navy, go to kickstarter.com or BackerKit. You know, you can always email them to get in on in the Navy figures, and they will be coming out, I think, in the summertime to the fall. I'm thinking more of the summertime, because they're actually on top of everything, unlike some other people that are just taking way too long to bring out figures. But we're gonna get Costa Longbow figures in the fall, if there's no World War III, and otherwise we won't be getting any figures. But hopefully, you know, China and Russia come to their senses. I mean, you look at Desert Storm, that was over in a few weeks. I mean, North Korea, you'd be over in like a few days. You're that small. And you know, you're gonna try to use nukes. Good luck. It won't take long. Alrighty, but anyways, that's just a simple World War III update. Hopefully the world comes to a senses, and maybe China can rein in North Korea. We don't need World War III. I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, we're on the dawn of a golden age. We're gonna have AI robots that'll pretty much do most jobs. Then we have time to play with our action figures. Thank you. But anyways, I love the look of these jets. I just wish they would have been improved. So Brian from Super 7, Brian Flynn, you know, anybody that knows Brian Flynn, tell him to remake the Cobra Rattler, but for Python Patrol, and make it come with some cool figures, or a figure. I don't know which pilot you would want for that, but maybe a Strato Viper, you know. So there is a lot more that'll be made, so have some patience. Maybe Super 7 will come out with something awesome. Anyways, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share the videos with others. Alrighty, that's all the time we have for now.